Hey everybody, just want to make sure I can zoom in and out on this. Well, let me take this off the tripod for a minute. Show you a few developments here. I wanted to put this on the spring pole lathe right here, but this piece of work, it's what I'm doing is combining some walnut, poplar, and I believe that's pine. Never done that before, combining soft and hardwood. We're going to find out how it's going to work out. I kind of got its basic round shape on the bandsaw over there. First obviously I glued everything up first. And they're just small blanks. There might be 4 by 4 inches. This is going to be a small little cup. And I really didn't want to use the electric lathe. Not because I don't like it, but it's just because I want to make this as much hand woodworking as possible. However, that is only about, which is these are 3/4, so that's only about 3 inches. Let's get a ruler and measure it real quick. That's only about 3 inches long. Yep, just a little bit. Oops. Just a little bit. The light from above is just a little bit too bright. There we go. So it's just a little bit over 3 inches. It's not very big. So kind of imagine this being over here. I'm going to just kind of rough guess. That's about 3 inches space. And you can see the tool rest. It just wouldn't allow me to get close enough. There'd be a big gap here. I did try and turn it. It did work a little bit, but I couldn't get a full revolution because, go back over here, because I had to wrap the cord around this small 3-inch piece of wood. Well, it just wouldn't work. It's not enough space. So what I need to make is what's called a mandrel. And basically it takes the place of this backing plate. And it would actually, let me go back over here. Sorry for doing this to you, but it would actually, the mandrel would hook onto this side and give me about at least another 6-inch extension, so I could pull this, pop it back. My tool rest would be able to, whoops, I tightened it up, so I'm not going to be able to move it up, but you get the idea. The tool rest would actually be able to get closer, which is much more, it's safer, and you do more accurate work if the tool rest gets closer to the work. So I'm going to have to do it with this electric lathe. Now, one of the issues is, in order to get this to stay like this, and I'm probably going to, I may or may not, I don't know, put those together. I don't think I will. I think I have to get that unlocked before I can do that. There we go. Anyway, one of the problems I had here is you have to screw it in to the back. I don't like doing that because that screws are going to go about that deep, and I don't really like that. It's probably going to show in the finished work, but I need some shorter screws. But one of the problems you have is, while I was screwing the screw in, oh, no wonder I've got the lens over here. Okay. This little, right here, where's it at? I think it's this one right here. The screw broke off inside the piece of wood. So that's going to be the front. This is going to be the base anyway. So I can do the base. I can get it shaped. But I'll have to actually dig that screw out before I can do anything, because I don't want to ruin the tool. So just the joys of woodworking. It's that stuff happens quite a bit, and it's just the great thing about woodworking is, putting this back on the tripod, is that you learn problem solving. You either learn problem solving or you give up. So that's just the way it is with woodworking, folks. So I am going to leave this on. I won't be able to do this very much or very long. For one thing, it's very late, and had a very late day, and see if I can zoom in just a little bit more. There we go. Had a very late day, so I'm here late. Had some meetings and things like that. This might go in and out of focus because that's going to be spinning. So we'll just see. I'm not sure that's a good angle, but you'll see the wood start to shape, get formed anyway. If I do it right, if I do it right. So it's going to take me a minute to get set up. I got to plug in. So you're going to hear a bunch of noise until I get plugged in. And if this goes as planned, I should have a really beautiful, smooth, oops, it takes a minute to. Oh, lesson number one. I forgot to tighten the. Yes. So unplug everything. Screw it back in. There you go. Just goes to show it can happen to anybody. I don't have the actual tool for the adjustment, so I'm going to have to make do with channel locks and a pair of a crescent wrench. And maybe my crescent wrench is just a little bit too small, perhaps. I don't think it should not be, but I think it's stuck for some reason. Okay, let me get the other pair of channel locks. This has worked very well. Yes, always check to make sure everything's tight before you make a video. That's a very good safety tip. I'm glad I didn't have it on high. All right, let's try it again. And I also need to clamp it down because I do not have it on I don't have it screwed into the table, so I have to clamp it down. This usually holds it in place. Really, that holds it in place really good. So stand out of the way, that way or that way. Well, actually over this way because it switches over here. And turn it back on, make sure it's on low. Lesson number 2, plug in electrical instruments. They usually work better. If you're going to work on them, unplug them. That way you don't accidentally turn it on. When you want to turn something, when you want to work on something, drills work better when they're plugged in, or if the battery's in, if you have a battery drill. So you're getting some good common sense safety lessons here tonight. I'm a little worried about that poplar, about it splitting out, but we're going to find out. That's good enough. Need the tool rest. I should perhaps zoom that back out so you can see what I'm doing. It doesn't hurt. I think I will. Let's zoom it back out so you can see everything I'm doing for right now. This is a Harbor Freight 8x12" mini woodworking lathe. We're actually going to turn some pins with it. Some writing pins. I had some great information from the man I bought this and the tools from. Great information on where to get the tools at for making pins down at Rockler in Phoenix. Rockler wood, and it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna make them to well, for gifts or for selling, either one. They can raise money for their field trips and things like that. Oh, get that just a little bit. I'm gonna raise it up just a little too. Yeah, right about there, maybe. Let me just test it and make sure it's not hitting anything. Actually, the way to test it, lesson number 3, you can spin this. So you make sure it's not hitting the tool rest. That seems to be fine. It's tight. Got the tool rest going. Now, I have to kind of do this reverse. A lot of times, I have to do this where I shape the outside first, but because I don't have a chuck, I shape the outside because I actually have to screw this into the bottom when I'm done. So I'll shape it, leave enough space so I can screw this on, and then I have to reverse it and put the carve the inside out. If anybody knows a better way, I'm open to suggestions. So that's the way I've figured it out so far. That's the way I'm going to do it. Let's put this stuff up. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I actually need to get home and take care of some other business. I just want to give a little demonstration, and this is going to be, succeed or bust. Not because I don't know what I'm doing, because I haven't mixed woods like this together, so I don't know what's going to happen. If it goes as I planned, it's going to be great. It's going to be very beautiful. So I think I'm going to pull this back just a little more. It's a little bit too close for me. There we go. So now I'm going to zoom in. That's all tight. Going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on. And we'll do it like that. All of these marks, it's not the wood's not cracked. That's bandsaw. marks where I did relief cuts, and so that's what we're going to get rid of. We got a roughing gouge. We're just going to give it a shot, folks. Oops, I need my little cheapo Harbor Freight. Works great though. Cheapo safety gear. And wipe it off real quick. All right. Here we go. Turn it on first. Make sure you're out of the way in case that thing decides to fly off. I have it on its lowest speed. Okay. I need to lower this back down. It's a little bit too high. I'm going to try that. There we go. What I want to do, I want to show you, you can already see it's starting to get smooth. It's starting to smooth out, get rounded. This part, the pieces weren't all even, so this is actually flat. I have to get down to this level and get that rounded out. So this will probably be about 2.5 to 2 3/4 inches round by the time I'm done. Just do a little more. Oh yeah, there's parts I can see. It's going to be beautiful. This is going to be beautiful when I'm done. I don't know if you can see this. It's smoothing out right here. I'll probably have to leave a lot of this here. Wait till I turn it around. But this is going to be awesome. Yep. Totally awesome. I still need to get it down pretty low. So, and I have it on low speed because it's right now it's very uneven. The poplar's cutting a little rough, but I'm hoping that that will be fixed later. talking because I have it on such low speed, but it's starting to look pretty doggone good. I'm liking this. Got to give just a little bit, which is, boy. Take the safety key out when you're working on it so it doesn't accidentally start. I'm going to try and get this just a little bit closer because without hitting the backing plate. Because I need to do this part right here. I need to get that as rounded as possible without messing anything up. Put your safety key back in. That's looking good. Oh, the pine's kind of chipping a little bit, but we'll see if we can fix that once we start getting it rounder. I've got to get down to this level right here, so I'll just I may shut the video off and just work on it and come back later, make a part 2. If you didn't hear any of that, because I have the face mask on, I may shut it off, the video. It's getting late. I may come back tomorrow and finish this up and just do part 2 and then let you see what it looks like when it's done. It's going to take a little bit of work to actually get this round and roughed out. So, but this part is going to be great. That's the pine, has a knot in it. I'm hoping it doesn't chip out. This is experimental, but I'm having fun. And it's going to be some cool art. We're actually going to do this on that spring pole lathe. I promise you, it will work. I actually turned it a little bit on there, and it was working just the same as this this lathe here, the electric lathe, except it's all foot powered, no electricity to it, and it was turning about the same revolutions, maybe 200 to 400. So, but so safe. You know, 6-year-olds have been using it. So this is safe too, as long as you keep it on low speed. If you're ever going to teach your children this, make sure you're there and you're watching them, and you know, just take the time to walk it through with all the power off. And I got the key out, so if you're going to do this with children, keep the power off and then actually do it by hand and show them basically the motions you're going to do in cutting wood. So that's a real short lesson on that part, but a real short advice, but it does work if you're patient. You know, teach them how to ride the bevel by doing it by hand. Just teaching them that part right there. So and then you can actually teach them to raise the chisel up. You can get a few little shavings, not much, but you know, you can teach children anything. They're, you know, as long as you're with them, you're being safe. Keep it on its lowest speed. No high speed for children, not until they're more confident and you're more confident in their abilities. And make sure you've taught them all the safety procedures. The spring pole lathe is great for kids. I mean, literally 6-year-olds have been using it, and they love it. So we're going to do this on that as soon as I make a mandrel, and I hope to have that done this weekend. But I'm moving this weekend, so it may take longer. Anyway, I'm going to shut this one off, and we will pick it back up later and part 2.